Live from the Crazy Cap Studios, this is Fairy Fountain News. I am your host, Jaden, aka Slime Boss. Tonight's top stories: Xenoblade Chronicles X finally gets announced for Nintendo Switch, and we finally got some Nintendo Switch news! Let's go! I apologize for the lack of updates over the last few weeks. I was out of town, and unfortunately I was not able to sit down at my computer once I returned home last week. It has been a rough couple of weeks, but we have so much news to cover, so we're just going to hop right into it. But before we get into that, obviously, because we're not going to be covering last week's news, we're just going to get right into it. But we obviously have to talk about the sponsors. W, of course, has been, we've been affiliated with them for quite some time now. I finally got my own shaker, as I've been mentioning. It's really good. It's been, actually been giving me energy and things throughout the day. So I highly recommend it. But they just announced their brand new drop for November, being the Pom Blom flavor. I'm going to be sure to check it out once I actually get paid, because I don't get paid from making these videos, guys. What do you know? I don't actually get paid from making these videos. So, yeah. But W's doing their brand new drop. I would highly recommend that you pick it up using our code CrazyCap to get 10% off your order, or you can use our link in the description below, and it'll automatically populate the code for you. And of course, it's also brought to you by the Crazy Cap podcast. We actually had two new videos come out over the last 2 weeks. First was our Minecraft movie predictions. We've had a couple of teasers and trailers already, but we wanted to just sit down and kind of talk about our thoughts about what we wanted to have, what we're getting, and sort of just the little thoughts like that. So we highly recommend that you go check out that video. The link will be in the description below. And of course, our Switch 2 predictions. Unfortunately, it's seeming more and more likely that Nintendo is not going to want to announce the thing this year. So we decided to kind of get a little bit ahead of ourselves and release the video talking about like what things that we want to see in terms of purely just hardware and how the reveal is going to go. Obviously, this was recorded with the assumption that it was going to be revealed this year, so that's why we just dropped it now, because it's more than likely not going to be happening this year. But luckily, we did get some news this week. And of course, every time that you watch, like, comment, and subscribe, you're helping out this channel in such a tremendous way. This series would not be possible without your help. And of course, leaving a comment down below of what you guys want me to cover, we'll obviously have at the end of every episode. And of course, heading over to our Discord and our Patreon as well, supporting us on the other platforms. We recently got ourselves a new TikTok page, a Blue Sky page, and a Threads page. So all of those links are now in our link tree. Highly recommend checking those out. So if you're subscribed to us or following us on other platforms, go ahead and add us over there as well. All of our shorts that we release here are releasing on all of those platforms as well. So if for some reason you don't hit up YouTube that day, it's on every platform. So I take the time out of my morning to release it on all those platforms. So go ahead and give us a follow over there. Nice little quick update from us. Now let's get into the releases. First things first is the Minecraft PS5 edition is now officially out. For some reason, they've been running the original PS4 Bedrock version, and now they finally had a version that's optimized for PS5, and it's still not really that optimized. So I guess it's a little bit better. I don't know. I have been doing some testing with it. It's really not that much better. Honestly, still to this day, I feel like the 4J Studios has done a much better job optimizing Minecraft than Mojang themselves have been doing. And Bedrock is, like, I thought the Switch version ran bad, and somehow the PS5 version is still not running good 4 years in, and it's Bedrock is just, it's so rough. Next up is Black Ops 6, very normal release for Call of Duty. Makes me sad that we don't have a yearly Pokemon this year, but looks like it's actually a good game. So, I mean, I know the last few Call of Duty games have been pretty good, but I didn't grow up with the Modern Warfare franchise. I grew up with the Black Ops franchise. So, I may or may not pick this game up. I don't know if the funds will allow. Obviously, brothership takes priority for me, but Black Ops 6 is definitely going to be one of the few Call of Duties that I pick up every once in a blue moon. Again, I vastly prefer the Black Ops series, so maybe this will be one of the games that brings me back into the series. Who knows? Obviously, we also got Sonic X Shadow Generations, to pretty well received Sonic game in quite some time. Forces, Frontiers, Forces was a lot worse than Frontiers, and Frontiers was kind of like mixed. Obviously, you can't go wrong with Sonic Generations. It's one of the better games of the franchise. One of the few that I actually personally enjoy, as well as a person that doesn't really enjoy Sonic games. And the short and sweet Shadow Generations as well was actually absolutely beloved by fans. So honestly, good for Sonic. They need a W on the gaming front. They need some dubs in their lives. So kudos to you guys. We also got the release of Rivals 2. If you don't know what Rivals is, it's actually shorthand for Rivals of Aether. Rivals of Aether is a sort of like pseudo Smash clone. This time they're going all in. It's 3D, not pixel art, things like that. Not really too interested in this one. I did enjoy the original Rivals of Aether purely for the modding scene alone, because I had so many mods installed when I had that game. It was a lot of fun. But Rivals 2 is pretty much their like obviously like the mods kind of took over for the actual like game itself. So this is like their full push. Like, this is the game that we really wanted to make, and so I'm happy for them. They're still, they're indie developers, so anytime that indies get a W, that's obviously a huge W for the community, for the gaming scene at large, and I hope that game does well. I haven't really been seeing it being marketed too well. I don't even know if it's coming to Switch, because I don't even think we saw it like at an Indie World or nothing like that. So hopefully it gets the notoriety and recognition that it deserves, but I haven't heard too much about it. I only knew about it because it was on the list that I used to find out what games came out. Next up is the NSO updates. We got Banjo-Tooie, which obviously is a huge get. We still need, Donkey Kong 64 at this point. We also got some games for the Mature Plus N64 online app, being Shadow Man and Turok 2. These were additions made to the Mature and over the Halloween season as well. So again, not as big as Banjo-Tooie, but still great gets nonetheless. And this will be kind of important when we get to what Nintendo announced about the Switch 2 here in a moment. Next up, we got Pokemon TCG Pocket. I'll be releasing a video on this over on my second channel. If you'd like a link to that video once it releases, I'll be leaving it in the description below. And I will just be kind of checking out like first 10 minutes and just seeing what it's all about. I've been enjoying myself with it. It's just kind of fun to open up a few packs, but it's not really what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more like being able to have like a digital collection of all of your cards. It's a completely separate thing. I thought they were going to delist like Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. That is not the case either. This is its own thing, and it's nearing NFTs at this point. So I really don't know what this is for, but it's kind of fun, kind of engaging to check in with it every day. And you could spend money on it, but I haven't spent a dime and still enjoyed my time with it. So it's just a little thing. If you enjoy Pokemon TCG collecting, it's just a little like something to check in on every day. If you're one of those people that plays games like that, that sort of thing. Next up is the Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered that we got, that we talked about a few weeks ago with the PlayStation State of Play. It's out. No one said a damn thing about it. I don't know what to say about it. I guess more ways that Hylian can say that Twilight Princess and Wind Waker needs to come to Switch. I guess, I don't know. Next is another thing that's kind of interesting, is Animal Crossing Pocket. They delisted the original, and they are releasing a complete version that you can just buy and play it like it's a traditional Animal Crossing game, which is absolutely amazing, because they didn't do that for Dr. Mario World or any of the other games that they just was it Dragalia Lost, or there's another one that they delisted as well. This is I'm so happy that they did this for Animal Crossing, and it was one of their few actually successful mobile games. So I'm glad that they did this. They need to be doing this for their other mobile games, but having just a tier that you can just buy the product with and play the whole game like it's traditional Animal Crossing entry is absolutely fantastic. I'm happy they did this, and they need to continue to do this. And finally, of course, the big boy that came out this week, Mario and freaking Luigi Brothership. I'm currently making my way through it. If you want, you can check out the link to the playlist. I have started a brand new Let's Play series that I highly recommend that you check out. This series means a whole lot to me, and so I would really appreciate it if you checked out my complete blind playthrough. I know you're going to be tempted to watch Sully Pones play through the game because he's made his grand return to making videos this week with Brothership, which obviously makes sense for him to do that, but yeah. So all right, so speaking of Sully Pones, he did make an announcement video. I do want to cover this a little bit because it talked about a lot of things with Etika and things like that. I don't want to go into too much detail because this is personal information that he decided to release, not my space to talk on it. But if you at all were growing up with Sully Pones or Kobe or Etika, I highly recommend that you watch this video. And so it kind of just gives his context behind, being a YouTuber and what it was like over the last few years. So highly recommend that you go ahead and check out that video. Another thing that happened is that Chugga Conroy announced his 50th Let's Play, and it was in this huge, grandiose video that was absolutely fantastic and hit me right in the nostalgia bone. And I genuinely cried because not only was like a nice nostalgic ride going through all the previous Let's Plays, but also he announced the 50th Let's Play was freaking Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, which is not only perfectly timely that Mario and Luigi is back and in full force, and he's playing literally the greatest game of all time. It's literally still my favorite game of all time. And the fact that it's the 50th Let's Play, one of his bigger Let's Plays that he has since returning after the whole debacle that happened at the top of this year. So I'm really excited to see this Let's Play as it happens. And like I said, he did have another Let's Play return in Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected, but it was a very, very short series. Or Future Connected, it was Future Connected. And so this is his next big game. So which is crazy because I swear to God, he played at least 5 RPGs back to back. It was Paper Mario, Xenoblade, Pokemon, and this game. It was back to back. He needs a platformer to shake it up there. Mario Odyssey is probably the next platformer, to be honest with you. So or maybe even Luigi's Mansion, which is what a lot of people are talking about, based on the hints that he gave us. Luigi's Mansion 3 kind of fit that bill as well. But I'm still glad it was Bowser's Inside Story because that is literally my favorite game of all time. How perfect that it's his 50th game. Anyway, let's get into the actual news this week. Obviously, we talked about the NSO playtesting that was announced a few weeks ago, and only a certain amount of people could get into it. And they also announced that you can't share what it is. People did. I am not going to be sharing what it is. I'm going to be talking about it, but I won't be showing anything on screen. It's this weird MMO game test thing that's similar to Minecraft or Dragon Quest Builders. And it's this weird MMO thing, almost very similar to Minecraft or Spore or something. I couldn't fully grasp it. If you are someone that is aware of it or played it, let me know if you want to get more detail in the comments down below. But it's out. People played it. I'm pretty sure the testing is done now. I don't know what the testing was for necessarily, but maybe that's the game, or that's the beta of that game. Maybe it's linked to Switch 2. Maybe it's linked to another game that we're going to talk about today. Not really 100% sure what exactly it was for, but very, very, very strange. But Nintendo did not want people talking about it. People still did, but they were instantly shut down hours after they were posting it. So next up, we got the announcement of the Mario and Luigi Brothership. Obviously, the game leaked, but the game's out now, so there's no reason to talk about the leaks. But I guess we can talk about people's reviews of the game. IGN gave it a 4 or 5, and it's really as far as I've been playing it, yeah, the game's a little slow, but It's absolutely fun. It's really satisfying. The battle system feels so good to play, except for Luigi not being controlled by B. But, we take what we can get with Mario and Luigi, and, we never thought the series would ever come back. Speaking of the series never coming back, it's made by some previous Alpha Dream people, but not a whole lot of them. The main developer that made this game was Acquire, so don't really have a whole lot of notoriety, but it's kind of weird, and a lot of people have been talking about this lately, that Nintendo just doesn't want to show who was making these games. It's super strange why they're not doing that, and they're just like hiding it behind things, and it's like they're like not proud of the people that are making the games for them. It's kind of like a weird phenomenon that they're doing, so who knows what that means, but Mario & Luigi is made by Acquire. Game's good. What else I can tell you? Sakurai Talks Games is now over. He's now just releasing compilation videos at this point. But he basically, his final video, he explained that he basically treated the development of the channel like a game. And it was so strange because he basically finished Smash Ultimate, had a lot of time to himself, and then instead of relaxing and having vacation time like we all told him to do, he immediately started work on this well, first of all, as soon as Smash Ultimate was done, he sent a proposal for another game, and in the meantime, between the end of Smash, the beginning of the proposal getting approved, and the start of the channel, he was grinding both the thing that the new game that he's been working on and the channel for several months. And then now he's still uploading the videos and actually releasing the content of and this was 2.5 years ago that bro did this. I believe Smash Ultimate ended in 2021. Oh, he still had a little bit of time to himself, but not really a whole lot. Bro, it was still on the grind. It was crazy. And the other thing is, he also has a game that has been in development for quite some time now, for 2.5 years, and we're probably going to be seeing that very soon. And it's no one really knows what it is. I doubt it's Smash. I don't think it's a remastered Kid Icarus, because it does not take 2.5 years to do that. And he's also not that type of person to want to remaster stuff or release a definitive edition of Ultimate. So it's what has bro been working on? It's bro needs to just chill for a moment. He is a hard worker, but just give yourself some time to breathe, man. Come on. Anyway, Playtonic, before we had news about the Switch 2, teases that Yooka Replay, which is a remake of Yooka-Laylee, and it's wild that we live in a timeline where Yooka-Laylee gets a remaster before GTA 6, obviously the meme, but also before a remaster of Banjo-Kazooie, which is what the game is based on, which is absolutely insane. We are still in the same generation that Yooka-Laylee came out in, and we're already getting a remaster. It's absolutely insane that all of these games are getting remasters when there's so many other games that deserve remasters. Not because because they're more than 20 plus years old, but also because some of them are really good games, but they're just bogged down by their archaic controls and things. And it's like Mario and Luigi and Bowser and Thousand Year Door absolutely deserve, because of the state of the Mario RPG series, and just so many other games that absolutely deserve it. And just Horizon Zero Dawn, Yooka-Laylee, do we really need that? But anyway, the point that we need to take from this is that they announced that it's coming to the Nintendo. Whatever the fuck the Nintendo is. It's not coming to Switch. It's coming to whatever Nintendo has planned next. And yet, Playtonic is more willing to talk about the Switch 2 than Nintendo is, which is absolutely baffling. But, yeah. So, anyway, next up is that Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Wow, we've been hearing this game being rumored for years at this point. and it's one of the few Wii U games that have not been ported to the Switch. And a lot of people saying it's like it's very Xenoblade 1, but it's like not Xenoblade enough because it's very different. It's MMO, it has a custom character. A lot of people are now going back on that, saying, wow, it was absolutely fantastic. The game ended on a cliffhanger, and now we're going to get, again, the definitive experience, similar to what we got with Xenoblade 1. And it's like now the Switch is going to be the Xenoblade machine. Not to mention, Xenoblade X is a kind of sort of live service game, MMO type of thing. So if this game is, just now barely getting announced and it's coming out in March, what does that mean for the Switch 2? Obviously, we would get our answer a few weeks later, or a week later. And it's like, this just the announcement of this and everything surrounding it was just like, what is going on behind the scenes at Nintendo HQ? Where is the Switch 2? How are we still getting Switch games so far into its life? And it's like, what is going on? Like, we thought Donkey Kong was like the last game, and like obviously we still have Prime 4 and ZA, but we assumed that those were also just coming to the Switch 2. We now know that is not the case either. Yeah, so it's like obviously fantastic that this game is coming even after so long. It's great to see it, but it also just makes the Switch 2 have an even bigger question mark surrounding it. So next up is Nintendo Music, which is another like big question mark. Is like, what the fuck is going on behind Nintendo HQ? And they released basically a Spotify for Nintendo Music, which is something that we have been begging them to do for so long. What we didn't expect that it is tied to NSO, which means if you don't have NSO, you won't be able to use this, which again brings up another question mark when this is announced. It's like, well, if we're entering an era of the next generation console, why are we still releasing things that are attached to Nintendo Switch Online? Like, why is that sort of the thing? Again, we'll have an answer for this in just a second, but in terms of the Nintendo Music app, absolutely fantastic. Some of the things that I absolutely enjoy about, like obviously, YouTube is obviously the better platform generally to listen to it. Obviously, they don't want you doing that, but it is generally still the better platform. However, Nintendo Music has a lot of really cool features where it's like, okay, so we have a collection of Nintendo Music, which by the way are getting drip fed, which I don't like. So far we got Mario Wonder and like one other game, but what is really cool is that they also include like that Famicom music, which has different music. So we have the original Metroid soundtrack and then the Japanese Metroid soundtrack, which is a little bit different. So that was pretty cool. But there's different playlists that are updated every single day that are based on characters, that are based on worlds, that are based on franchises, that are based on your mood. Like, if you're running or walking or hanging out at home, or it's crazy just like how diverse the playlists are with how little music is on the platform as of right now. And it started off with a lot of really weird picks, and it's like not even like all the Switch games are there. It's like it's very random how they decided to go about it, but at least they gave us like some of the core essentials, and they also gave us like a taste of like what's to come. Like, oh damn, like we got the Blazing Blade. Like, oh shit, like, there's so many different. And then the Japanese version of Metroid soundtrack. Like, at least they're showing to us like, okay, we're gonna get some good stuff out of this. Oh, and for some goddamn reason, Wii menu music, because like it's like they really do know that like Wii music is kind of goated, and it's like, at least they're starting off strong. It's a very weird selection, but at least they're starting off strong. So like, we're gonna, by the end of this life, we'll pretty much have everything that you really desire. And it's like, yeah, Breath of the Wild in there. It's like, I don't really want to listen to Breath of the Wild music. It's not even like really music, but they have it, and that's what shows their dedication to this, because it's everything. They're gonna be having everything from Wii music to smaller titles to the Japanese soundtracks of things, showing that, you have been wanting this for a while, and so we're going to be giving you a cool little Nintendo official app. I don't mind it. I really don't. And it just adds more value to NSO, which if people are still complaining to this day that NSO has no value, I completely wholeheartedly disagree. There's so much that NSO has to offer for you now that there's no excuse for you to say that this service has no value. It is absolutely fantastic, the stuff that's on display here now. And again, that begs the question, why are they still adding value to NSO when the Nintendo Switch 2 is on the horizon? Well, the Nintendo Switch 2 is officially backwards compatible, which I couldn't give two shits about how this thing is marketed, what this thing looks like if they revert back to a DS and a console. So, like, I couldn't give two shits about what the actual console is. I couldn't care if it was only pixel games. Like, I really could not care. Like, obviously, like, we know it's still going to be 4K, whatever. It's still going to be a nice push forward for Nintendo. We know that. But the biggest thing that I absolutely needed to know was if this was backwards compatible. The Nintendo Switch library is absolutely fantastic, very wide, very diverse. So having that notion is so relieving to me, because now it means I don't have to buy all my Switch games again. It was fine with the Wii U, because the Wii U was a failed platform, gives them an opportunity to make more content with those games, and, you know, Xenoblade X Definitive, great example. So not only are you going to be able to have all your physical Switch games work on the Switch 2, all of your digital Switch games are going to be able to work on Switch 2. And what that also means is that NSO, which I think they're going to be changing to Nintendo account, which is what it's already technically is. And we kind of already knew this, that pretty much it was like the Wii and then the Wii U and 3DS had that shared eShop ecosystem. And now we have the Nintendo account. And basically the chart that it showed like 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, that it was Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo account was kind of like this, and it was like an ever expanding gradient where, like, we didn't really know what that meant. Now we 100% know what that means, is that basically you are going to be able to continue to use your Nintendo account going into the Switch 2, going into the Switch 3, going into the Switch 4, and you are going to continue to be able to own your library, and you're going to continue to be able to have whatever NSO is going to have for you. I'm going to assume that going into the future, we're probably going to have DS, we're going to have GameCube, and maybe Wii. I'm hesitant on Wii because Wii is still a little bit modern enough to where it's like you can just port or remaster those games, which they're already doing, right? And obviously, we're never getting Wii U or Switch to this, because, like, assuming if this is the case, then going into the Switch 3 or 4, you'll still be able to access your Switch 1 games and still play them online. Assuming that it's the same servers, same Nintendo account, right? That's the idea that I assume that they're going with. Based on their chart, like, that makes sense, right? And so having that is just a huge relief, because just being able to just pick up right where you left off and continuing to expand your Nintendo collection is going to be a lot easier than basically starting over with the Wii U. Now, the problem with that going forward is that it sounds like it's still going to continue to be cartridges, which, again, with a portable system, it still makes sense. But going into, like, the Switch 3 and the Switch 4, how is that going to work if they have to have disc? Because 4K games are going to be very rough trying to fit into a tiny cartridge. I mean, they already have a hard time fitting them onto discs. Like, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth requires 2 discs. Like, how the hell are they going to even manage to get in on a cartridge, you know, day one and stuff? And if Nintendo's trying to be more modern in terms of tech and stuff, like, not like super like PS5 levels, but like at least advanced enough where they're able to play modern games, it's like, I don't know if a cartridge system is going to continue to work. So maybe they'll just say, well, your physical collection won't work anymore, but your digital collection will continue to carry over. I don't know, but again, this is still very, very huge news. And yeah, so sorry, there was a lot to cover this week. I had to go kind of super quickly, so I really appreciate if you checked out the whole video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, subscribe. Usually this would be the time that I would shout out any comments that you guys have left to talk about different news and things that you wanted me to talk about. And of course, go check out Dubby and our Patreon and our Discord. Using code CrazyCap can give you 10% off the brand new Palm Blom flavor over at w.com or w.gg. And so, yeah, go check out that new flavor, use our code, join our Discord to join the conversation. And yeah, I'm going to be going back to playing Mario and Luigi Brothership. It is a long game. It is a very, very long game. I don't know. I haven't gotten to the point where it's like, okay, you're doing the Dream Team thing where it's like overstaying its welcome. But I would say, like, to just sort of give you like a rough understanding of how long this game is, it's like, or like how slowly paced this game is. In Bowser's Inside Story, you go intro exposition, you're already inside of Bowser, and within the first area you already have hammers. You don't really get hammers until like the halfway point of the first area. I'm not talking the first island. I'm talking the halfway point of the first major area in the game. Because the game is basically split up into 5 major sectors, and at the end of that sector you fight a major boss. So basically where the grand lighthouses are, and each time that you go into a new area, it is slightly longer than the last, or about the same as the last. And so when you start at the very beginning, it's going to be extra slow because it's super tutorialized. Like, it's been a while since you played Mario and Luigi, all these newcomers coming to the game. It's the first time that it's on a console. You don't get hammers till about halfway through, like probably like 4 or 5 or 6 hours in, versus Bowser's Inside Story where you got the hammers an hour in, maybe 30 minutes in. So just that's just sort of just give you guys like a sense of scale. And again, this is their first foray on the console. They try to make it longer so it seems more like a console grade Mario and Luigi game, which is absolutely fine. But I assume if they do make another game, they're probably going to kind of iron that out. Like I said, they had pacing issues with Dream Team. The original developers aren't even on deck for this one, so if they're able to kind of like iron that out for the next game, we're back. Mario and Luigi's freaking back, baby. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we will see, hit that notification bell for the next time that we have a Fairy Fountain News, which will be next Saturday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for the patience over the last 2 weeks, and we will see you next week. Oh yeah, I have been your host. I have been your host, Jaden, aka Slime Boss. This has been Fairy Fountain News, live from the Crazy Cap Studios. Have a good night.